Hello and welcome to the feature walkthrough video for Ways of the World 3rd edition, published by Bedford, Freeman and Worth. In this video series, we'll be looking at the World History program, including the student edition, the teacher's materials, technology and ebooks, and professional development. In this first video, we'll discuss the student edition and its supplements. Dr. Robert W. Strayer brings his wide experience in world history to the writing of Ways of the World. His teaching career began in Ethiopia, where he taught high school world history for 2 years as part of the Peace Corps. At the university level, Dr. Strayer taught African, Soviet, and world history for many years at the State University of New York College at Brockport, where he received Chancellor's Awards for excellence in teaching and for excellence in scholarship. After moving to California, he taught world history at the University of California, Santa Cruz, California State University, Monterey Bay, and Cabrillo College. Dr. Strayer is a longtime member of the World History Association and served on its executive committee. He has also participated in various AP World History gatherings, including 2 years as a reader. Dr. Eric W. Nelson joins Bob on the 3rd edition of Ways of the World. He's a professor of history at Missouri State University. Dr. Nelson is an experienced teacher who has won a number of awards, including the Governor's Award for Teaching Excellence in 2011 and the Case and Carnegie Foundation for the Advancements of Teaching Professor of the Year Award for Missouri in 2012. He's currently Faculty Fellow for Engaged Learning, developing new ways to integrate in-class and online teaching environments. Now that you've learned more about the authors, it's time to take a look at what makes Ways of the World the best world history textbook for your classroom. The new 3rd edition retains the hallmark features that made the text so successful in its 1st and 2nd edition, while adding new features to align the text to the redesigned AP World History curriculum. Let's dive in. One of the most widely praised features of Ways of the World is the narrative. This text is truly global, comparative, and thematic text that focuses on the big picture. A peek at the table of contents will show you how this text is different from the others you'll see. Brief by design, the narrative avoids overwhelming details and instead emphasizes major developments. Broad themes include empires in the Second Wave era, global commerce and trade throughout history and into the 21st century, the emergence of global religions, industrialization, and the rise and fall of totalitarian systems. AP World History can sometimes be an overwhelming course for your students. Fortunately, the narrative of this text allows readers to connect with the authors. Open up your text and take a look at To the Student. This may seem like such a small thing, but it speaks to AP students. Like we said earlier, a college-level text could look a little bit intimidating. That's not good when this could be your very first AP course. Imagine getting a letter from the authors of your AP textbook. Imagine them telling you that the subject of world history is a big one and that they themselves are sometimes daunted by the subject. Imagine them explaining directly to you that you're a piece of this magnificent history, and imagine that they encourage you throughout this process. This is their letter to your students. Bob and Eric connect with AP students beyond the textbook. On our YouTube page, Bob Strayer wishes students good luck on their AP exam. He has one of our highest view rates, and his words resonate with viewers. The text begins with AP Historical Thinking Skills, a primer, that provides tips on reading this college-level text, suggestions for analyzing what you read, and recommendations for synthesizing the information and writing a cohesive argument, all skills students must demonstrate on the AP exam. It's updated to follow the redesigned AP World History curriculum, including secondary sources and refined argumentation section. Brand new for this edition, Understanding AP Themes, featured at the beginning of each part, has students identify the important forces shaping each period and make connections between chapters. This feature includes an AP thematic grid. Narrative ending big picture questions encourage student synthesis of the material by providing a broad overview of what the student will read about in each part. Note what the authors say in this big picture essay. Studying world history has much in common with using the zoom lens of a camera. Sometimes we pull the lens back to get a picture of the broadest possible panorama. At other times, we zoom in a bit for a middle range shot. This is the language he uses throughout the text, and this metaphor is revisited. At the end of each chapter, a short reflection section raises provocative, sometimes quasi-philosophical questions about the craft of the historian and the unfolding of the human story. These essays are often models of comparative writing for students to practice recognizing words that indicate continuity and change. Now, at a glance, students can see what happened at the same time in Asia and Africa, and the Americas, and so on. And if you have any students who are visually oriented or have a photographic memory, they'll be able to recall these colorful timelines more easily. Guided reading questions emphasize comparison, connection, and change. If you look in the margins of the third edition, you'll see all of these fantastic little questions that really drive the students to think historically about what they're reading. Seeking the main point sets the tone for each chapter and offers a guiding question for students to put historical thinking skills to work. While the guided reading questions ask students key questions as they read, longtime AP reader and table leader Jay Harmon offers AP-specific tips that point to specific information that students are required to know and show on the AP exam. Appearing in the margins of the student edition, alongside relative content, these tips also offer gentle reminders and suggestions to help students succeed throughout the course. Practicing AP historical thinking invites students to reflect on what they've learned to that point in the chapter. These are also great opportunities for students to put their developing historical thinking skills into practice. To sum up what students have learned, there is a chapter review located at the end of every chapter. Chapter reviews include key terms and figures imperative to the course and AP exam, and big picture questions. Reviews also include sources for students to research and enrich their learning experience. We placed AP exam practice questions at the end of each part. You can see here that you have 3 stimulus-based multiple-choice questions, 1 short answer question, 1 discussion-based question, and 1 long essay question per AP exam practice section. These new questions were written by longtime AP teachers and exam readers Barbara Bronozuna, Jay Harmon, and James Sabathney. Written documents and visual sources collections in each chapter emphasize the theme or concept from the chapter. Introductory essays, headnotes, and comparative questions in the documents and visual sources sections help students understand how the written documents and visual sources relate to each other and to the chapter narrative. The docutext format of Ways of the World is more than 2 books in one. The docutext is a textbook and sourcebook that teaches historical thinking and analysis through the use of primary evidence in thoughtful collections of related written and visual sources. The third edition includes a feature called Zooming In that often looks at individuals in particular cultures or societies. The authors zoom in to show societies and cultures, and then further in to show individuals. Students like these individuals as well because they make history real, especially when we're often talking about the larger comparisons and themes. The online resources include an AP World History glossary with every term in the course defined, an academic glossary, and glossarios featuring both the AP and academic glossaries in Spanish. The academic glossary includes words the authors use that sophomore students might not be familiar with, such as alchemy and liturgy. Available with the student text is the Strive for 5 guide, a study guide designed especially for students to help them succeed on the AP World History exam. Strive for 5 Preparing for the AP World History exam is a guide that gives students additional support throughout the course and is the optimal preparation resource for this AP exam. Organized around Ways of the World 3rd edition, the Strive for 5 offers support and guidance during the school year, as well as AP World History tips, suggestions, and 2 complete practice exams in preparation for the test in May. The guide overviews each unit and module to help students put everything into context. Practical study tips at the beginning of each unit help students succeed in the course. There's a module-by-module study guide with big picture synthesis questions at the end of each unit. It also includes effective strategies to prepare for and take the World exam. Thank you for watching this video walkthrough of the Student Edition for Ways of the World 3rd edition. We hope that this has informed you of the resources available throughout the student program. If you have any questions about Ways of the World 3rd edition, its supplements and technology, or any of our other social studies titles, please feel free to email us at socialstudies@bfwpub.com at your convenience.